Hello, friends. How are you doing, everyone? I hope you all remember that we have posted part four, part one, part two, part three, part four. Um, Four videos that tells you how to teach yourself Java. How to code yourself, how to teach yourself Java. So it is possible to teach self Java. um, it's not, as I said, it is not rocket science. Slowly, every day, if you commit your time, like 30 minutes, an hour for coding and practicing, so you can teach yourself as a professional Java developer. So it is easy. That's why I'm giving you some guidance. Today, I'm gonna post part five. We have, I would like to review the last video, that is part four. We have been discussing about, primitive data types, non-primitive data types, and primitive data types. There were, we've been discussing about actually data types and, variables, data types and variables. But first, we have seen primitive data types. There are 8 primitive data types. As you remember, those are byte. It has 1 byte, and also its description is whole numbers from 128 to 127. That is the limit of this byte, how it stores, and short 2 bytes with whole number from negative 32,768 to 32,767, and int 4 bytes, long 8 bytes, float 4 bytes, double 8 bytes, char 2 bytes, and Boolean 1 byte. We have seen all this in part 4 video, so you can, for detailed information or for detailed understanding, just revisit part 4, self-teaching, Java self-teaching. Today we are going to continue our second part, that is non-primitive data types. These are also called, we call them reference types. We have already seen, because they refer to object in memory. They refer to object in memory. That's why we call them reference data types. And these are also not 8, but these are around 5. A string is one. We have halfway to see the string, and today we are gonna get through with string. And arrays is the other. Class, interface, object. We'll see all these 5. These are major part of Java, Java course or Java tutorial. So I'm gonna give you a highlight, so that you can go ahead and research, more in more detail. So we have continued in part 4. Just I recommend you to go back to part 4 video. That is about string, non-primitive data types. String, we have been looking at string. So string is, we call that the sequence of characters, right? The sequence of characters. We said a string always have a double, in the double quote, that all we have seen in part 4. Now we are continuing that part 5. Let me open the notes, because I want to highlight some notes here. A string, we are looking at a string. We haven't finished string. It's good to just highlight this. My favorite color, I think this one, yeah. String. So string data type, there are 5, right? We are gonna look at 5 of them. String. Another one is array. Yeah, array. And we have class. We have class. We have interface. And finally, we have objects. These are, very, very important. These are, reference data types. We call them reference data. These are reference data types. Yeah, these are reference data types. So let's put, these are reference data types, or we call non-primitive data types, or non-primitive data types. Non-primitive. Okay, non-primitive data types. So these are very important. String, array, class, interface, object. So we have been looking at, and we have been discussing on this, but first is string. String. We have already halfway discussing the string, but today we'll continue with no repetition. String is the sequence of characters, as you said, right? It's a sequence of character. Actually, let me get normal. Okay. It is a sequence of characters. Today, a string, as we have been discussing about the string, I already said it is immutable. Immutable. A string is immutable. String is immutable. What do we mean? It is not changeable. Not changeable. Once you created, it is not changeable. You cannot change whatever you code. You cannot change once you create it. If you need a requirement for change, you have another string like string buffer and string builder or other. These strings are there. We will see those. So once you create a string, it's not changeable. So that's why we call it string is immutable. String is immutable. But instead, there is a string buffer for it's mutable. You can change if your requirement is changing what you have already coded, what you have created, or you can say if you want to make a change, what you have created already. You can use string buffer. Or how do we write string, in the small letter here, string buffer. This is the convention how to write string buffer. So string buffer, I will see the difference for the string buffer, how you can change, Okay, let's see this way. It doesn't matter. The string buffer. It's mutable. String buffer is mutable. It's the opposite of a string itself. It's the opposite of a string because the string is immutable, but string buffer and string builder. We have a string builder, but it's the same, their only difference is in thread safety using synchronized word. But for now, that's the only the difference. But here, string buffer, yeah, you can change. You can change. For instance, let me do one example encoding both string and just to show you how different they are. Okay. So that you can see, let me create one project and just we are, let me say, a string string, the name of both, just the difference. Okay, let me create the project, new window. I'm using new window. So here we have main class. You see, it's by default we have the main class and also this, this entry point, main method, but we don't need all these. This is just the description and the sample. We don't need this all, so we can delete all of this so that we can use this main method for coding, right? And this breakpoint, we don't need this break. Yeah, we don't need this breakpoint. Some people, you understand what breakpoint is for debugging, issues, especially, for debugging issues. Yeah, you will see in the future. We'll see in the future. But for now, you don't have to worry about that. Now we are gonna start coding here. What the difference between string and string buffer. For instance, let me write one code here. String always follow capital S. Here you see, when you write capital S, you see here, you can select string here from here. The string S is equal to, this is the way how to create object. I'm creating new. When you say new, you are creating object, new string, right? New string, we are creating object here. Okay, let me see here. Let me say, because we are creating object right here. Let me write my name, Suraj. Let me say Suraj here. And then if we want to write my other name, my last name, to concatenate my last name here, you see how do you concatenate? How do you concatenate? S, this is S, the reference S, S dot concat. If you write C, you see concat, just select this, concat. Now here, Ibrahim. Let me write, and let me make this S capital here. You see, we concatenated S dot concat. As I told you last time, what is concatenation means? Concatenation is just joining these two words, Suraj and Ibrahim. We're concatenating. We can use plus sign and concat word as well. Concat. This concat is the keyword. We can use the concat keyword. So let's print this code. Let's print. So let's print. Okay, here you see This is Suraj, right? But we tried to concatenate. After we created, we are creating another. We are concatenating another. So which one do you think it will print? Which one do you think it will print? Let's see. I'll show you the difference. You see here, Suraj. Only Suraj. I concatenated, but it's printing only Suraj. Why not Suraj Ibrahim? My intention was to join this Suraj and Ibrahim, Suraj Ibrahim. I wanted to print Suraj Ibrahim, but it printed Suraj. Why? Because it's a string. It's not allowed to change, to make a change. Once created, here, when you say new string, you are creating an object in heap. Yeah, you are creating an object in memory, in Java memory. New, whenever you use new, the new word, always new is the keyword, but there is another way to create object, but this is one of the noun way to create an object. So whenever you say new string, you have created an object. Once you create it, you cannot change. You cannot concatenate. You see here? Because it is string. Okay, what if, let's see the same code. Let's see the same code with string buffer. Because string is immutable, not changeable. You cannot change once you create it. I created Suraj first, then you cannot concatenate or you cannot change, right? That's why it printed Suraj. Okay, now let me comment this code so that I can show you how it is different in string buffer. Okay, string buffer. Okay, let's do string buffer. You see here, as you say B, it comes here. You can select, double click. String buffer, because it is changeable. It is opposite. It is a string buffer, SB, or let's do it small letter, SB. SB is equal to, let's create the same new string buffer, right? New string buffer, the same Suraj, so that you can understand the difference. Okay, Suraj here. And now concat. In a string buffer, you don't use the word concat to join. Instead of concat, you use append, because it is string buffer. In a string buffer, you use append, not concat. But it is the same word for string buffer. The same functionality it has. For instance, SB is SB dot. Okay, SB dot append. Append. You see, once it comes here, append. Ibrahim, the same. Okay, the same like this here, Ibrahim. But the difference is, okay, now let's, what do you think here? What did we say? String buffer is mutable, it's changeable. We have created a string buffer Suraj here. We have created an object here, Suraj. This object is changeable. Here we are trying to append Ibrahim. So it has to print Suraj Ibrahim. Not like this. Here, in a string case, it printed only Suraj. But here, it prints Suraj Ibrahim. You see how the difference is? This is immutable, not changeable. String is not changeable, but string buffer is changeable. Okay. you can change after creating an object. Okay, now let's run and see. You see here, Suraj Ibrahim, but we can make this space. Okay, let's make space, just one space. Yeah, Suraj Ibrahim, you see here? Made a space, Suraj Ibrahim. So how do you make space? You see here? Just do this, one space, or if you want two space, just one space. Okay, let's enter Suraj Ibrahim. You see the difference? Suraj Ibrahim. Once more, let me comment this and comment this code. Okay, comment this code and uncomment this and run. You'll see it is not concatenating. It's not concatenating. You see, it's when we run it, only Suraj. You see? Again, it runs just Suraj, not Suraj Ibrahim. You see the difference? What the difference between string and string buffer? String buffer is different. String buffer is, so what we can say is, for your understanding, here comment and write string buffer. String buffer is mutable, you see, whereas string is unmutable. Okay, string buffer unmutable. So it's good to understand this. Let's just comment those examples. Okay, this is very good example to understand the difference between string buffer and string. So there is another way we can see a string. Okay, we'll see a string. By the way, I'm using IntelliJ IDE. This is IntelliJ IDE for coding. We are using IntelliJ IDE. So one more thing, one more example here. When you create, for instance, two objects, for instance, a string, using the string S1, this is a reference, always you need reference name for your string. And how do we create object? Use the keyword new string, right? New string. Yeah, new string. But I haven't decided what to use here. String ops. Okay. String here. Let's use some word here. Let's just use Suraj. Be familiar to my name. Okay. Another string is also getting created here, but instead of let's say just Suraj. No problem. And here, for instance, S3, another string. Even let's just print instead of just creating a system. Okay, let's compare these two strings. Now we have created two strings, right? Two objects, I mean. Two objects. We created two objects, Suraj here. These are not same object. not one object. These are two different objects, even if the same value, even if they have the same value, but they are different two objects. Why? Because we have two new. You see, new again here. So are these equal or not? Are these equal or not? Is it equal to S2? S1, this is S1, Suraj. This is S2, Suraj. For S2, for reference S2, Suraj. We have created two objects. Are they the same? Are they equal? This is Boolean actually. Is it gonna be false or true? What do you think? Is it false or true? If it is equal, it's gonna give us, this equal compares reference. This reference S1 and S3. And we'll see another way also. There is another way. But let's print this so that you can understand what it is. It's false. You see, it's false. It's not the same. Right? It's not the same. Even if the only difference is S2, right? S2 and S1. The name only is different. But the object is the same. Why is not equal here? Why it's not equal? Why it is false? Why is not true? Okay, let me make another so that you can understand best. Let me write another code here. Okay, another code here. In another way, for instance, the same code. Okay, instead of concatenating codes, okay, let me just comment this printing part only. Here, okay, system, not equal, but here, differently, let's say S1 dot equal to S2. Not equal S1 equal S2, but let's compare this way. They are the same, but this way, S1 dot equals. So my intention here is so that you may understand the difference between equal and dot equals. Dot equals. Dot equals and equals. What is the difference? That's what I want to show. Here is it printed false. It's not equal. It's not equal, right? But what about S1 equals? S1 dot equals S2. Is it equal? Yes, it prints true. You see, it's printed true. But, okay, let me concatenate this. Let me comment, uncomment this and show you. But equal to S2. Let me run this code. It's gonna show us false. Why? It's not equal. Not double equal. System.out.println S1 equal S3. Okay, what does this mean? You see this line S1 dot equals S2 and S1 equal S2 are different. In terms of this, it prints what? False. But in terms of this, it prints true. But it is the same code, S1, Suraj. False and true. So why is that? because even if the reference comparison, the reference comparison, the S1 and S2 reference comparison, comparing this equal to is comparing what? Reference. Comparing reference, not value. Not value. Not value. Value Suraj for this and this here also it's Suraj, but reference is S1, S1. So it was false because why? Even if it is a reference comparison, it's not pointing to the same object. Not pointing to the same object. That's why it is false. It's not pointing to the same object. Why? This is new. This is new. These are each are pointing to themselves, their own object, their own object. S1 S1 in the memory, Suraj is created, another Suraj. String S2 new, string Suraj is also created there. So these two references are comparing what? Comparing is not pointing to the same object. But in this case, they are pointing to the same object. Equals, dot equals. This is a content comparison. Content, Suraj. The content, new. You see here, new and new. In case of this one, this is the second one. This is the first one is a reference comparison. Reference comparison. Let me just so that you can understand. Let me write here a note for you. This compares reference or reference comparison, or you can say reference. It is reference. It is reference comparison. But in this case, it's different here. In this case, the comparison is different, a content comparison. A content comparison. That's why it's true here. When content comparison, here it is a content comparison. Here it's in this case, it is false. But in this case, S1 dot equals S2, it is content comparison, and it is true. So this is a content comparison, even if it does not point to the same object, right? So content-wise refers the same. New, right? But content-wise, Suraj, the same object. Content-wise, it refers to the same. But this is reference-wise. This is shallow comparison called shallow comparison. But this one is deeper. Yeah, it's deeper comparison, content comparison. You see the difference? You see the difference? Yeah. This is very tricky in terms of interview. In an interview, it's very tricky kind of question. So you have to understand, interviewers like asking this type of questions. So what about when we use a string buffer in case of string buffer? Okay, let me comment this and comment this, and let's use cuffs. Okay, let's use string buffer. What about string buffer? string buffer sp1, the same code. Let's take the same code. sp1 is equal to, yeah, new string buffer. Let's say Suraj, the same thing, the same object, Suraj. And let's do the same with the same. You see here, it's the same, right? String S1, new string Suraj. String S2, what is it? String other than string buffer, and this reference difference, the same, Suraj, new. But how is it gonna give us false or true if we shallow compare, or if we compare? Let me system. Yep. Yeah. If we do that, what do you think? In case of string buffer, SP1, the same with that. Is it gonna give us false or true? Let's run and see. False. It is false, right? The same. It's just like a string. What? It's false. It's not pointing to the same object. This is false because here it is a reference comparison. Not referring to the same object. It's not referring to the same object. So that's why it's giving us false. But okay, the same way like this in the second print. Okay, let me comment just this line and create another string buffer system sp1 dot equals sp2. Okay, here it is different, right? It is different. What we have experienced here it was true, the second, right? This was true. Okay, let me say here, true. This was true, but this was false, right? This was false, and this was true. And what about a string? False and true, right? In these ways, you see here, equal S2, it was false. Here the same thing, equal SB1 equal SB2, false here, right? We printed and it was false. But what about the here? It should print true, right? If it is similar to this, right? No, it's not similar. In string buffer situation, the case is different. Okay, let's run it. Let me show you. Let's run and show so that you can understand. It's gonna give us false. See, false. But in a string situation, it gave us true, right? This same S1 dot equals S2. Here, SB1 dot equals SB2. It should have given us true, but it gives us false. What's the reason? Why? So in a string buffer case, both are false. But in a string case, false and true. What's the difference? Why? Because in a string buffer, this is not content comparison either. Both are reference comparison. reference comparison. That's why output. In case of SB1 dot equals, it is comparing what? Reference. Even in this case also, it's comparing reference. In both cases, it's reference. There is no content comparison. Here, you see a content comparison, right? In a string case, it is content comparison. But in a buffer case, there is no content comparison. All are reference comparison. Okay, let me put notes. All refers or points not to the same object, right? So there is no content comparison. Content comparison in buffer. Say string buffer. Okay. String buffer. Okay. Okay, here also you can debug here syntax error. That was okay. You see in here, right? This is just note, small note for you so that you can remember. These are very, very important things in a string coding situation. There are another way of creating string. You can refer without using new keyword. You can also create what? Object. You can create object. So in one case, even I think this, if we go to, it's going to be detailed. If we go to, if we talk about string constant pool and memory situation, maybe in the future, I'll show you about a string constant pool. Just compare, a heap. There is a memory. In a memory, two memory, you have to remember, heap and stack. They are heap and stack. These are the memory places. For instance, object. Every object you can store in, whenever you create object, you store in a memory in stack. No, I mean in a heap. For object creation method, it's different. For variables, it's different. And also you have constant pool, string constant pool. So research this string constant pool and about memory, Java memory, your usage and what memory parts are. For instance, heap and stack, and also let me write just research this. Research. Okay. So you can check out in books or in YouTube, anywhere, but go and see the difference. Research. Research on this one memory, Java memory types. Java memory and types, like to check heap and heap verse stack verse what string constant pool. Verse what GC, garbage collection, or we call it garbage collection. Okay, check out. Okay, okay, check out this research on Java memory types. There is a young generation, young generation, old generation, and constant pool, and there are many things related to memory. Java memory types: heap versus stack versus string, constant pool versus GC, garbage collection. Just check all these, each one of them, so you can get idea. And this is just a guidance. And in this string, I cannot. This is not detailed Java course, but just guidance, which area you can focus on, and I think as far as it's enough. And also, I want you to study on topics like string, buffer, and string builder. Okay, these are also the topics. Study on topics like string buffer and string builder. They are the same, but there is a synchronization difference. One is safer, the other is not safer. So string buffer, one of them are not safer. So you will find the difference when you study the difference, and you can study the word synchronized or thread safety situation. Just study this all. I'm not gonna cover all this because it's gonna be detailed if I cover all this. So I don't want make you very boring in this. So we're gonna continue the next topic. As we are looking at, two types of. Okay, let me open the notebook here. You see, a string. Already we're done with the string. There are three types of string we see: string buffer, and string builder. We are gonna study those, right? Now let's go to array. So what is array and how arrays work? It's a very, very important topic, especially this about array. We're gonna look at what arrays is. So I think let's make this video shorter and finish here, because we are gonna go to another topic, right? So I'm gonna make, array one, because I have to include the collection in array, and we will do comparison of collection and arrays in our part 6 video. But this part 5 video completes string buffer and the string builder and how its usage is. So check it out. So check it out and research some topics I have already commented. Thank you very much for your help. Don't forget subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you encourage me, just watching these videos and also subscribe my YouTube channel, then I'm keep helping. I hope to the level of even advanced level. If we stuck, maybe that may be a problem. We shouldn't be stuck somewhere, but we are gonna keep doing and be strong. Subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for today. We are gonna stop here. Thank you.